I'll be honest with you, I thought I was done after that last video, but I'm like, there's no. This is something I want to, people need to hear, need to be presented with, just so they understand what's going on. Another Wolf Street article. Janet Yellen was right to brush off transitory factors of low inflation. Why core inflation is rising and what it means for the Fed rate hikes. Consumer prices, as measured by CPI for October, rose 2% year over year. A month ago, CPI increased 2.2%. The Fed's inflation target is 2%, but it doesn't use CPI or even core CPI, which excludes the volatile food and energy items. It uses core PCE, which usually runs lower than CPI. And if we were to if there were an accepted measure that shows even less inflation, it would use that. But it does look at CPI, and there was nothing in today's data to stop the Fed from raising its target rate in December. The core CPI rose 1.8%, up a tad from September's 1.7% increase. Core CPI has been above 2% for all of 2016 and through March 2017. In the history of the data going back to the 1960s, core CPI has never experienced deflation. But when core CPI rates retreated in the spring through August, along with other inflation measures, a sort of panic broke out in the media. But the retreat was repeatedly brushed off as transitory by Fed Chair Janet Yellen and other Fed governors starting back in June, when they vowed to continue raising rates gradually and proceed with the QE unwind, or the dissolving of the $4.5 trillion balance sheet. Yellen had specifically pointed at a few of those transitory factors. These factors are now turning around. Core prices have re-accelerated their increases. One of the transitory factors Yellen had pointed out specifically was telephone services, which includes the monthly cost that consumers pay for their smartphones and landlines. Those costs had plunged as a price war among wireless carriers broke out in 2016. This summer, the CPI for wireless services plunged as much as 13% year over year. Consumers loved it, but it couldn't last. Telephone services matter, with a relative importance of 2.2% in the overall CPI. The index is still down 7.1% from a year ago, with wireless down 10.8%, but the price war plunge had stopped, and wireless service prices increased 0.4% in October on the monthly basis, after having already risen 0.4% in September. The price index has now made a sharp hook after a hard plunge. Of course, the plunge and the hook is going up. The auto industry is another transitory contributor to low inflation this year. Combined new and used vehicles, including leased vehicles, have a relative importance in CPI of 6%. CPI for new vehicles has declined 1.4% in October year over year, but consumers haven't seen these declines. The average new vehicle transaction price, despite all the incentives in October, was up 0.3% from a year ago, according to Kelley Blue Book. Since December 2013, in less than 4 years, the average transaction price has risen 7%. In dollar terms, the average price transaction price in December 2013 was $32,890. In October 2017, it was $35,263, an increase of $2,373 in less than 4 years. And let me guess, you're not making any more money than you were back then. Either A, because you haven't really gotten a raise, or B, because prices of everything else that's important, food, energy, that stuff, went up and ate away your extra income. Or C, you didn't get a raise and those things went up. We call that F in the A around here. This is based on what consumers are actually paying for the new vehicles, but it doesn't enter into the price index for two reasons. One, the average transaction price is impacted by changes in mix, as consumers might buy more or less expensive models. And two, the price increases within models are whittled down in the calculation of CPI by hedonic quality adjustments and, my favorite, other adjustments. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, quality adjustments are based on resource costs provided by manufacturers in categories such as reliability, durability, safety, fuel economy, maneuverability, speed, acceleration, deceleration, carrying capacity, and comfort or convenience. Adjustments are also made when equipment is added or deleted from the tracked model. This has created the phenomenon where consumers shop for a new vehicle and get sticker shock while the CPI for new vehicles has been tame or even declined. That 2,373 or 7% surge in the average transaction price since December 2013 translates into a decrease of the CPI for new vehicles over the same period of 1%. Even with this decline in CPI for new vehicles, consumers face these higher prices on the lot and they go into a sort of rebellion. This is what started to happen last year and came into full bloom this year. Consumers backed off. The automakers had to throw record incentives out the window, at them. Hey, over here, we'll give you $8,000 off and this and that, Consumers backed off. Automakers had to throw record incentives at their models to overcome consumer resistance. On a monthly basis for the new vehicle CPI, the low point was in July with a monthly decline of minus 0.7%. Since then, the price declines have retreated. By October, the monthly decline was only minus 0.1%. I expect the price index to be flat or rise on a monthly basis in November. And that too would mark a turnaround from the transitory factors of low inflation. A similar scenario has played out in used vehicles. The CPI for used cars and trucks has stopped falling. I already pointed at underlying industry dynamics, including surging wholesale sales prices and sharply rising retail prices at the older end of the used vehicle spectrum. The CPI for used vehicles is now picking up these price pressures with a jump of 0.7% in October. On a monthly basis, the index remains down 2.9% from a year ago, but in March it was down 4.7%. The Bureau of Labor Statistics today named used cars and trucks for the first time in this cycle as one of the pressure points in price increases after the shelter index and medical care, while it still pointed at new vehicles as a source of price declines. But that too will change soon. There is no financial crisis now. These are the boom times in the U.S. economy, with the unemployment rate at the lowest level since March of 2000. But subprime auto lenders see a different world. Read auto loan subprime, blows up Lehman-like moment, which I just read you. So you don't need to go check it out unless you really want to. Read it for yourself. Yep. Oh, and there's an ad on this page. Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. Black Friday. Unbelievable. And I've told you this story. Go out, buy a new car? Absolutely not. I could have bought a real nice car for myself earlier this year even. This is way before cryptos really took off. I was doing okay. I could have got a nice car. Payments, of course. I'm not cash. I would have payments. And I wouldn't have even done the 8-year, 7-year nonsense. I would have give me a 5-year. But I know better. Get a used car. I'm reading all this stuff. I know what the hell I'm talking about because I'm seeing it. I'm looking at the data. I know what the hell's going on. No, do not get a new car. Go get a really nice, barely used car. And what did I tell you? Dad's car was having some problems. It's kind of an old beater, to be honest with you. And I had the old X Crown Victoria police car, the old white, looks like an unmarked car. Push bumper and all that crap. Dad, I'm going to go ahead and give you my car. You need a car? I'll give you my car. Cheers, Papa. Papa, ooh, didn't mean to give you my car. Actually, I did. I did mean to give it to you. And time for me to get all electric. I'm looking at what these things cost to charge and that kind of thing. Let me do it. Oh, what's this? 14,000 something miles on it? 2015 Nissan Leaf? Not exactly the most manly car you ever looked upon. I'm going to be honest. But 85 miles on a charge. I only need it to go back and forth to work. We've got the minivan for anything else. 12 cents to charge this per kilowatt. Okay. 24 kilowatts is a total charge. So you're telling me, 80 miles is a few dollars. Yeah, correct. It's not bad. Okay. Again, 12 cents. Let's just do the math. 12 cents a kilowatt. 0.12. And it's 20. I'm talking if it was zero, not charged. 24 would be $2.88. 80 something miles, $2.88, essentially. And if you have a pretty cool place to work at like I do, and they let you plug in, they don't care. It's good because, again, they don't care about that little nonsense. it's even half that, except during the week I'm plugging in. I don't, you know, weekends and everything else, whenever I'm driving, I plug in at home. Not that it matters, but I did get permission. Yeah, no problem, plug it in. Plug it in, plug it in. I got that effing car for $10,000 from a dealer that specializes in hybrids and all that kind of stuff. Company called TampaHybrids.com. And had some stuff on Craigslist. I'm looking, man, that looks good. Okay. They had between $10,000 and $15,000 looking around. I don't need the super deluxe model with the sunroof and the little tiny solar panel in the back window, as if it even does anything. What's that one? Oh, it's just the basic Model S. Leaf S. Yeah. It doesn't have the super powerful charger, but it still has a pretty decent one. If I buy the aftermarket, yeah, okay. Good. $10,000. 14,000 miles on this thing. 2 years old. It's like brand new. 30-something thousand dollar car new. That is 2/3 the price, a little more than 2/3, honestly. 2 years later, 14,000 miles. That, my friends, is how you do it. Like a boss. And here's the thing. You can do that anywhere. You don't have to come with Tampa Hybrids. Go buy a freaking used car instead of a new one. Buy one a couple years old, a 1 year, whatever it is. Anyways, I'm done preaching. I'm out.